Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about a recap from my initial unboxing of my Aerogarden Harvest. So it's been about maybe 25 to almost 30 days now since I got my seeds started, and I said that I'd come back periodically to give you guys an update on how things are going, and things are growing beautifully. So I'm going to jump into that video in a few seconds and show you guys how things are progressing, and then there will be a part 3 to it as well, where they're really growing beautifully, and then you'll also see different ways of how you can thin out your herbs or whatever you're growing. And with that, I'm going to show you how to do your own hydroponics through what's called the cracking method. So it'll be a couple of videos that will be a part of this series. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are too, and I hope it'll be helpful for you. So stay tuned. So I told you guys I'd come back once I started seeing some action on these guys. I planted these 3 days ago, and I come downstairs, and what do I see? I see thyme. How exciting is that? 7 to 14 days, and it already sprouted 3 days later. And then I saw my basil. Look at that basil, if I can get the camera to focus. Isn't she lovely? Oh my goodness, so exciting. So those two guys, what's that, usually 6 to 12 days. Basil, like I said, tends to grow really quickly for me. So I'm not surprised, but I'm a little surprised by the time, but I will take that win. Mint usually takes a little longer for me. It's hard to see down in there. I don't see anything growing yet, but again, 6 to 10 days, which is okay. And sometimes it can, like I said, it could take longer. Savory, don't see anything on that Savory, no action happening there just yet. My oregano, now, if I can, I don't know if I can focus in there for you guys. I don't know if I can focus well enough, but there's one oregano seed deep down in there that has already cracked. The seed coat is cracked, so that's promising. This says 7 to 14 days, so if it starts sprouting that late, I will be very surprised, but I anticipate seeing something very, very soon. And then same with this, my Italian parsley. This usually takes a while for me as well. Yeah, see, that's why, 12 to 21 days. So we'll be patient. We'll be okay. I don't see any action going on in there yet. So I'll put the dome back on, and just keep in mind, like I may have mentioned earlier, I don't know, but I'll mention it now if I didn't. You want to take those domes off once they start growing because they don't need it. Yeah, just keep these guys on and very loose. They don't need to be tight or anything like that. And just make sure again that your hood light is low. So I'll just put that back down into place. So I just wanted to look at everything. But this is just so exciting. I'm just so happy that my little babies are starting. All right, we'll do a check-in again soon. All right, guys, we are a day later. So this would be day 4, and my basil is starting to really grow nicely. You can see that there must have been like 3 seeds in there, because I can see about 3 clusters of little seedlings. Very exciting. And then my thyme is starting to perk up a little bit more. I think I see maybe about 2 in there. Mint, let's see. Mint is not doing much just yet, which is fine. Let's see about you, Savory. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can see it. I feel like I'm casting a shadow, but the Savory is definitely in there. You see a little green thing? Hopefully you can. My eyes can see it, so it's right there. My camera wants to focus on the words, but not the little sprout, but I see it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the dome off of that. Let's see about you, oregano. Again, oregano's taking its sweet little time as it usually does, which is fine. But I do see that the seed has already cracked, so that's progress. And how about you, parsley? Yeah, same with the parsley. The camera's not picking it up, but I definitely see that that seed has kind of done its thing too, but not there. But this is all good. So we've got 3 that have sprouted for me. So this is exciting. 4 days later, they sprouted, and yeah. Oh, you know, one cool thing I wanted to show you. I doubt that you'll see any roots just yet, but I meant to tell you guys earlier that this little guy right here is a particular growing medium that's used in hydroponics, and that's literally just a sponge. It's kind of cool. So all they use is just a sponge, and as you can see, it does a really good job at keeping all the moisture and those roots in the plant. So there you have it. This is day 4. Very exciting. I'll be back for another update. Okay, we're doing a checkup, and this is like literally 1 day later, and my thyme is really starting to come out nicely. Here, the basil is just really ready, about to bust out of there. It's so fun looking at these. But my savory is the one to really write home about. Look at that. Just the other day, it was barely sprouted up, and here we go. That savory is looking pretty good. So I'm excited about the savory. Let's see what else we got going on. Have any mint yet? I do not see any mint yet, which is okay. How about Italian parsley? You guys doing anything yet? Can't see anything, but you can't see this on camera, but the seed coat has really cracked open nicely, so that's always a good sign. Again, as you see, parsley 12 to 21 days, so we'll be patient. Now my oregano, though, 7 to 14 days. I see that little green spot up there. That's fun. I love me some oregano, so we're gonna be, I see pizza and spaghetti in my future. So that's really, really fun. So I'm going to take that dome off. I don't know if you can see, there's like 2 or 3 other seeds in there. They look like they're cracked as well. And that's my dog barking at somebody. So that means that there's going to be something going soon. So I'm still going to leave the dome off. But oh my goodness, this is good stuff. So we've got 2 more that we're waiting on. And they're just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's so exciting. I can't wait. Now, one thing I want to point out here with this basil is that you see these little leaves. Now, when you start seeing leaves growing, and I talked about this in another video about seeds and starting seeds, these little guys are cotyledon. You see that? So every plant, once they start growing, our little seedlings, we call them seedlings, they're called cotyledon. And remember, these cotyledon, they're not true leaves yet. So they almost all kind of look the same. You know, people have asked in the past, like, oh, did I plant the right thing? Because it looks like little clovers. And they do kind of look like little 4-leaf clovers a little bit. That does not look like basil, right? This here does not look like thyme. This guy here really doesn't, doesn't look like savory. Oregano, that's even harder to tell. But so basically, remember, the cotyledon are the first leaves. They're not the true leaves, they're the first leaves, and those are the leaves that feed the plant. And so at this stage, this is a stage where the lights really, really, really do come into play, because that's where they're getting their chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll is what makes them green. So you see that. So in another video, I talk about this and how, like, when they first come out, I don't know what that sticky thing is. I still have tape left over. When they first come out, they're they're not very green. They're still kind of pale and whitish or what have you. That's because they haven't been getting a light source yet. And the chlorophyll hasn't fully developed, but over time it'll start developing, and then you'll get your first true leaves. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna guess maybe within a couple of days, maybe a day or two, definitely this basil is gonna shoot up. So once basil gets going, it goes crazy. It grows like a weed for me. Thyme also. Thyme takes a little time. Takes a little bit more time to do its thing, but once it gets going, it goes crazy. A lot of herbs I have that with. Once they get going and they get their mojo, so to speak, they just shoot up and they just grow like crazy. So so just keep that in mind. Never fear or never worry, oh my gosh, I got the wrong seed or they labeled it wrong. Nope, they didn't. This is what the babies look like. So exciting. So we are 8 days in, and I don't even really have to zoom in much because you can see the babies are really growing nicely. Even though I say I'm not going to zoom in, I will because the lighting is a little better. Look at that time. It's already shooting up. This is day 8. So it said it usually sprouts within 7. I think we were seeing some action around day 3. And the basil, like I said, my basil always grows so quickly, so beautifully. It's just looking amazing. Still not much going on with the mint. Again, mint is my little struggle one, but we'll hold out hope, keep the faith. I'm trying to look in there and see. I'm not seeing my seed, so I don't know if it just blended in or hopefully it didn't fall out. Savory's looking great. It's so cute and tiny. It looks adorable. My oregano, let's see, there we go. That oregano is looking pretty good. You see about like maybe about three in there, and in about a day or so, once they start growing up a little bit more, I'll start thinning them out, and I'll explain to you what thinning means. Let's see, parsley. Parsley is another guy that I usually have a hard time with. It's so black in there, it's hard to see. Maybe I can take a picture, or I can see a little corner there, but if you can, it feels so focused. You can see where, again, the seed coat has cracked. And, oh wait, I see a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to see here. I'm gonna try to insert a picture, but I just saw a little bit of the first little cotyledon and the radicle. So I will take a picture of that. And these terms that I'm using, I'm gonna do another video all about seeds and seed germination to explain what those terms are. So yeah, this little guy is really doing something. Earlier, a couple days ago, I didn't see anything, but he's definitely in there, and I wish I had a better camera, but like I said, I'm gonna try to take a picture with the flash on, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So again, 8 days in, I'm keeping that dome off for this parsley because I think we're ready for that to start shooting up. My mint, just waiting for my mint. My mint can be stubborn sometimes, so we'll see what happens. All right, guys, so we are 11 days in now, and you're clearly seeing lots of growth, lots of tall seedlings, or actually I'm starting to see some true leaves coming up here on the basil. If you can see this little guy, maybe I'll zoom in. So my basil here has got its first true leaves. This is so exciting. So as I mentioned before, these guys here were the first ones that come out, right? And so these are called the cotyledon. And this is where your plant gets all of its nutrients when it's first starting to grow, right? And then I'm finally getting my first, what we call first true leaves. So that is so exciting. So now it's really starting to look like a basil plant now. And then we've got a couple others under here that I can try to show without losing my focus. And I wanted to highlight today too, I want to thin these guys out. It looks like there's about 4 or 5 in here. Now why they do that, first of all, you plant, I usually do about between 3 and 4, just to make sure that something does germinate. Because if you think about it, if you only have one seed, you're most likely out of over 100 seeds, you know, it's like statistically how many will grow. I don't have that number, but you know, 9 times out of 10, if you have 5 seeds, at least 1, 2, or 3 may sprout. In this case, all 5 sprouted. I assume that that's how many they had. But when you come over here to my Savory, this Billy has like, oh my gosh, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 looks like. So there's definitely going to be some thinning that I'm going to have to do with that as well. Again, I'm going to let them grow just a little bit more. I'm going to push it because I want to be able to grab it. Well, I guess I can grab them, but I just want to see how good they're looking. And you usually just want to pull out at least, leaving at least 2 in one little pot each. So, and it's so hard because they're growing so well and are looking so pretty. You could replant them once you start thinning them out. That would require you to take the sponge part down here. Oh my, and look, we've got roots. It will require you to take the sponge part and splice it, and then to gently separate them and repot them. And maybe I'll show you how to do that, even though I won't be keeping them. And maybe I will, I don't know. But my plan right now is to just grow them in here. But this is really cool. I'm excited to see those roots growing in. Let me get in there for you. These little Savory roots already, and they're nice and white, or you know, like an off-whitish. This is a sign of a healthy root, and that's how you want them to look all throughout growing. And you see how they just start to spike out and shoot off. It's so cool watching this and seeing this happen. So yeah, that's really, oops, this guy's back in there. It's really fun and totally exciting. Again, let's see, maybe we'll have some roots with the basil. Yep, got roots in that basil growing. And again, I'll show you how to separate them if you would like to replant them, potentially in another Aerogarden or another hydroponic system or in soil. So we see here my thyme. It looks like it just one made it, and that's fine. So because that's really all you want. 1 or 2 is great, but 1 is perfect, and it's growing beautifully. Again, you'll see these little cotyledons here, the little baby leaves, the seedlings, and then the first true leaves. And then this is already going to a second level now. So this is that's the fun part. Coming along to my oregano. Again, that oregano, there's a lot going on in there, and that oregano. Not sure if you can see that very well under the light. Yeah, there we go. So there's a lot of oregano in there. I cannot tell how many. It just looks like a huge cluster. But that is just so cool. It's a ton growing. Not seeing very many roots. They're so small I can see them with my eye, but maybe I don't know if you can see them on the camera right there. That's one little root there. And more will come as it continues to grow. The last time I did the video, oh, look at that. So yeah, the Italian parsley was just starting to get its little sprouts going. And now you can see it even better. I can see little sprouts coming in there. And then this guy here, that's again the cotyledon, just starting out, and there's a couple that are just rolling up, and so that means that we're going to have a few parsley plants in there, which is exciting. Let's see if we see any roots. No roots yet on that guy, which is fine. And now on to the most interesting thing. Now, I went against my own advice and I got a little impatient as the mint was not showing up, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be authentic and show you guys how things are growing, and be upfront. Not everything grows and sprouts, but it was just taking forever, and I was just like, you know what, let me just go ahead and plant something else in there. I was going to do another mint, but I figured, I found some chamomile. So I've been wanting to grow chamomile, so I got excited about that, and I went on and put a couple of chamomile seeds in it the other day, and lo and behold, don't know if you can see that little guy in there. I don't know if I can zoom in enough or what. Yeah, it's just not showing up yet. but it is so teeny. I see a little teeny green sprout in there. So that was me being impatient, as I told you guys not to be. And again, this says 6 to 10 days. And here we are on day 11, and I see a little sprout in there. So that was just a big joy that I had this morning when I saw that. So I am still leaving the dome on for another day or so because, like I said, I've got my chamomile in there. I am 100%, or let's say 99.9% sure that that little sprout in there is indeed mint and not chamomile. I have never seen a sprout grow that fast, like within one day. And even a day later, the seed coat has only cracked, and you can start to see the beginnings of maybe the radical or the root, the first type of root growing out. But you'll never see a green sprout. So again, my mint did not let me down, and it did start growing like it should. It will be fine in the same pot as the chamomile, so I'm excited to get some chamomile mint tea. Maybe I'll try that. That sounds fun. But yeah, this is so exciting. Day 11, this is where we are with things, and this is just awesome. So I'll come back in another few days and see how everything else is growing. Alrighty now, so we are on day 13. And everything is still progressing nicely. Let's look at our time. Yeah, look at that. It's really starting to develop. It's really pretty true leaves. Same with the basil. You see that nice little chunky one right here. It's gonna be really pretty. They look so nice. They're still using the cotyledon. And again, that's where they get their nutrient source from. So you'll start to see them yellowing a little bit because the plant is taking all the nutrients. I still haven't been notified about adding plant food, but I'm sure it'll come in about a day or so. And forgive my little daughter's candy ball. That's from our gingerbread set that we set up. Yummy gingerbread. Okay, now you see that mint growing still. Like I said, remember it took a while. It took about 11 days instead of 10. But that's looking pretty good. I'm still waiting for that chamomile, so I'm gonna keep that dome on there. So you can see the mint here is still progressing. Remember, it felt like it was taking forever, and it took 11 days instead of 10, which is still pretty darn good. You see those little two white things on there. There's a couple of them turning white. That's my my chamomile. The little seed coat is probably breaking off. So I'm gonna leave it on there like 1 or 2 more days. I keep extending it out, but I really want to see that chamomile grow. It will grow without the dome. I just don't want to keep it there and start introducing mold or anything to the plant leaves of the mint. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it like that. Our savory. Oh my gosh, that savory's looking really, really good. Very healthy. Again, we're gonna have to start thinning these guys out. I always have the hardest time thinning them out because it's like, these are my little babies and I don't want to get rid of them. I'm thinking about replanting them. The parsley, looking good. Slowly but surely growing. Looks about 3 or 4 in there. Oregano usually just kind of starts off as little clusters like that, so I'll definitely have to wait to see that grow up a little bit more before I can thin that out. But yeah, these guys are looking. Oh, that's my daughter in the background trying to train her dogs. But this stuff is looking really, really good. So we'll keep looking at the progress. I hope you found this video helpful and you could see how things are growing. I hope your herbs and fruits and veggies are growing just as well in your Aerogarden. Keep an eye out in another week or so and you'll see how things progress from there. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm also going to show you how to further thin out your herbs and take them and replant them into soil, into another hydroponic system, or even a more affordable hydroponic system called the cracky method, where you're growing in mason jars, which is kind of cool, something fun to do with children and just anybody. So Hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll check you later. Take care.